Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. Quick movie review. Ready to Rumble, 2000 flick. Ready to Rumble. The overview of this movie can be summed up in one quote from the movie, where Sting, the wrestler, not the musician, reveals that he's backing Jimmy King, who is played by Oliver Platt there. Jimmy King, the wrestler. And he says, Jimmy King is all right to me. He says that to Scott Conn. And Scott Conn says, this is the quote now. Scott Conn says, you love Jimmy King. I love Jimmy King. We're men. It's okay to say that we love other men. And Sting gives him a look like, he goes, I love you, man, Scott Conn says. And Sting punches Scott Conn in the face. Very satisfying. And then David Arquette jumps forward and says, my turn, hit me, do me. So Sting punches David Arquette. Again, very satisfying. But then you realize this movie is all about wrestling, and so therefore it's all fake, and Scott Conn and David Arquette never actually got punched. 1 of 13 stars. I usually say one comment after that. And so the comment I'd say is that wrestling and yakking on the phone or on your podcast are for pussies. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I am your host, The Madman. I want to remind you that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. And if you don't become a patron, I'm starting to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion, Shock Monkey Radio. I also have a Cash App using hashtag Shock Monkey Radio, all one word. Follow me on Twitter, at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. Or on Instagram at SLRobbins13 on the Instagrams. Yeah, I guess I could do since this show has become the Madman Movie Review show. Because I did 2 movie reviews last week, and it's like 300 views between the 2 of them. You know, like 5 people watched the live show where, they're like, oh, I just want to see the movie reviews. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I can do that for you. Because I like watching movies. I'm going to watch movies no matter what. I'm going to be mad at them no matter what. So I could do some of that. But, we could talk about other stuff. We talk about other stuff from time to time. I think it's like, even when I'm on YouTube, I'm looking for a certain theme at a certain time. Like in the evenings, I don't like to watch any political stuff. I like ghost videos. I like serial killer, like people who've gone missing in parks and stuff like that. I like that kind of spooky stuff in the evenings. And so I don't go look at like a guy's channel. He goes live. Even those channels, if they go live, I don't want to hear you talking about what you think about the. So, but that's the interesting thing about YouTube. You can search for exactly what you want. And people like to hear me talk about movies, I guess. So, we're going to talk about more movies today. I got 3. I squeezed 3 in with that Ready to Rumble one. So, I guess I can squeeze them in. And here's the sad thing. Is I hate wrestling. I hate it. You know what I think of it. All right. But, I've seen Ready to Rumble like 5 times, 6 times. I don't know why. Maybe I was just at a friend's house and it was on in the background. Maybe. Or I was staying at a friend's house. I stayed at a lot of friends' houses. All right. And they had like one cable channel that played movies. And that one was on that month. And I saw it like 4 times in a month. Plus, it is funny at times. And what's her name? Rose McGowan's in it. And the other wrestling girls dancing around. But when Scott Conn's sitting there going, I can't believe I met Goldberg. It's so awesome. I'm sorry. It's so, what's the word? Gay! It's gay. Anyway. I was thinking about boxing. Because that had made the news. People were talking about boxing in the Olympics. And we'll get to that later in the news. And I was thinking about boxing, more specifically boxing gloves. The very concept of boxing gloves. Some guy originally said, I want to punch somebody, but I don't want to hurt them. Really, I don't want to really hurt them. I just a little bit of padding in my fist because I do want to inflict damage, but I don't want to hurt them too much. And then you start talking about like different types of boxing gloves because they got different weights. You could have like a 14-ounce gloves or 16-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? So there's even variations, even a striation of deviation, you know, of that specific need. It's like, I want to punch somebody, but not too hard. You know what I mean? And I understand that boxing gloves were invented because people were watching bare knuckle fights, probably women. They were watching bare knuckle fights and see that people get hurt when they have, yeah, it's a fight. People get hurt. And they said, we need to do something a little more humane in this inhumane sport of boxing. So we're going to invent boxing gloves. So you got to put on these little padded gloves and you tape up your hands. I guess they always taped up their hands if they had any sense, because you don't want your bones moving around and breaking all the time. So, I mean, it got to the point where they putting on boxing gloves, and you still watch fights and people still get hurt. They still get hurt, even with boxing gloves. So it seems like this extra, I don't know, it's like sticking a Q-tip between these people. What's the point? Because you still want people to hurt each other, right? So, I mean, it seems silly to me. But, I mean, if you don't like bare-knuckle boxing, I mean, I guess you don't like fighting. And I think that's the issue, is, you know, I'd rather see a bare-knuckle fight, and it'd be over a lot quicker, I guarantee you that. Anyway, I was just thinking about boxing gloves, and I was like, what a weird invention. Because you could say the boxing gloves were invented solely for the faint of heart, just to appease those people who can't bear to watch violent movies. I don't want to see somebody get their throat slit. It's in a movie. It was invented for people like EK. Speaking of boxing and punching, I was thinking this morning about how I've never connected a punch to the face, anyone's face. And I think that's kind of odd considering how many fights I've been in. I've never connected to a face punch. But to be honest, looking back, I've only thrown about 3 punches towards somebody's face. I'm not the fastest person on earth, so I mean, people can dodge me. I've thrown a lot of rib shots to because frankly, I think rib shots are far more effective than punching somebody in the face. I've been punched in the face lots of times, and I know that I could take several before I'm done fighting. So I don't think, but you punch me in the gut, punch me in the ribs, I can't breathe. I'd be done a lot quicker. I know how to defeat me. But I'm not going to tell you. But I mean, it's like I've never really, I don't know, it's just I never really threw punches at faces. I don't know, maybe it's because I wear glasses. Don't hit me, I have glasses. But every time I fight, I toss the glasses. So if you see me toss my glasses, you know it's on. So I found that weird looking back on all this, because tons of holds, tons of rib shots, like Aikido, wrestling moves. Some of the most basic wrestling moves are so handy when you get down to the ground, because fights end up on the ground. I don't know if you know anything about fighting, but they end up on the ground. And considering I took Aikido and I know wrestling, and I did wrestling in high school, I'm pretty effective. And usually it's somebody throws a punch at me, I catch it, Aikido magic him, and he goes down to the ground, and then I get on top of him, wrestling style. And here's just a little tip when it comes to getting down on the ground with someone. Get up on your tiptoes. When you get up on your tiptoes on the ground and you got your chest on somebody, all your body weight is directly on top of them. Simple wrestling. That's wrestling 101 stuff. That could save your ass in a fight. But I found it weird that I have no distinct memory. Like, I've been drunk in fights and I may not remember, but I have no distinct memory of a satisfying punch to the face. I think it was because I watched Ready to Rumble and I wanted to punch Scott Conn and I wanted to punch David Arquette so badly. I was like, it would be so satisfying to punch one of them in the face. I mean, on the Courtney Cox angle alone with David Arquette, alone, You don't know. You're way out of your league there, buddy. Way out of your league. She doesn't look so great these days, though. Anyway, I'm boring myself. Let's talk about movies, I guess. A Madman movie review show. I'll talk about other things too. We're going to talk about the news. Don't you worry. So I watched G.I. Jane this weekend. Hopefully you know the premise of it is what's interesting is it all starts at a political level. It's all this what's her name, Anne Bancroft, is that her name, the graduate lady? And Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. That lady, she plays like a congresswoman or something, or a senator or something. She's like, we want to get women into these combat roles. And so we're going to do this experimental program. We're going to take, and she starts searching like all these other like women who are serving in the military, who are like, beefy enough, beefy enough to like probably do it, to be able to make it, doing SEAL training, Navy SEALs training, and she passes by them and selects Demi Moore because Demi Moore is kind of a looker, it's like a, what you say, it's like she's top drawer and there's silk panties inside. It's a real weird thing. And that's the whole point of it, is that like the politics of this is what initiated this whole movie. Is because they wanted to prove that women are just the same as men in combat, which is not true. Sorry. I think this movie very much explains that. All right? And so they pick this, for political reasons, they're doing all this. And so they take Demi Moore and send her to SEAL school. And all, of course, there's the good old boy club, obviously, because they understand the truth that women don't belong in combat situations. All right? And so she, of course, meets some resistance, but they have to play the game because it comes down from the quote-unquote top. All right? And I don't think that's the way any of this should be handled at all. The military should have said, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to put people's lives in danger just to prove a point to some feminist in Washington. All right? And that's the point. It's like women do not belong in combat roles. They certainly don't belong in SEAL school. You know how I know? Because I couldn't hack it in SEAL school. All right? I had hard enough time just at regular boot camp. I couldn't even imagine going to SEAL schools. And every single guy I knew who had gone to SEAL school, their SEER training or whatever, had washed out. And these were the fittest people I've seen in the Navy. It'd be like, usually they were like a driver for the admiral or something like that. And it's like the admiral, I have to pick up the admiral at this time, drop him off here, and then he's there for 4 hours. And so what I do is I go from here to the pool and I swim for 4 hours. So I don't get out of shape because I'm going to go try again to become a SEAL. All right. It's incredibly difficult. It's the elitist of the elite. All right. And thinking Demi Moore, of all people, can do it is insane. It's insane. And she even quit for political reasons. The political winds changed, and she quit. And that's what irritates me, is that the politics drives this whole thing. It's not like Demi Moore's character wanted to do this. She was an intelligence analyst. She was good at her job there, and then she got hand-plucked to go do the SEER training. And like anybody who joins the military, any assignment they get, they'll see as a challenge. And Demi Moore was already a naval officer before all this happened. All right? Anyone who serves in the military knows that even if you're told to do something you don't want to do, you're going to see it as a personal challenge and you're going to attack it. That's the nature of the military. That's a testament to Demi Moore's character. Yeah. But my favorite part of this movie is the Master Chief, when he says that poem, right when he greets the class with Demi Moore's in. He gives a poem. It says, I have never seen a wild... It's something like, I'm paraphrasing. I've never seen a wild thing feel sorry for itself. A bird will drop frozen dead from a bough without ever having felt sorry for itself. Good little poem. It's about stoicism. It's about attacking the challenge. And the movie tries to say like it's like directed at Demi Moore's character. But the point is that Master Chief is trying to train every single one of them to be SEALs. And not feel sorry for yourself, to be stoic in the face of like, the tip of the sphere of the United States military. And that was kind of the point of the movie, is that, you know, in order to get through this, you got to like put aside yourself. And in many ways in life in general, you need to put aside yourself. And in many ways, Demi Moore's character was still the female, and that was always her angle. Even though she said, she's like, I don't want to deal with these separate PT standards. I don't want to use the step ladder on these things. I want to do the same training that the men are do. That will get you in with the crew. That will get you in with the guys. And that's fine. And that's the whole point of the movie, is she may have gotten in with the guys because guys are awesome that way. We're very inclusive in that regard. All right. But the point of the matter is, like, they have that scene where they're like taking the camp, and they took them all as quote unquote POWs in this training exercise. And there was this quote unquote scene where they like kind of acted out that Demi Moore's character may get raped. All right. And the Master Chief is telling him, he's like, this is how it would be in a combat situation. If you get captured by the enemy, this is what would happen to a female captive of that the enemy has captured. And he's very correct in that. That's why I think this movie is a perfect example of why women don't belong in those kind of combat roles. A character like Demi Moore as an intelligence analyst, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But I don't want her to be on my ship and something falls on me and she can't lift it off me. Or carry me out of the ship. Like, quit complaining, fat boy. It's like, yeah, okay, that's a little bit of that, it's on me. All right, a little bit of that, it's on me. All right, but yeah, and I've forgotten how big. Forgive me for saying so. I forgot how big Demi Moore's tits look in this movie. They look huge. Did she just have like a kid right before this or something like that? They were huge. Anyway, G.I. Jane, 1997 movie, 6 of 13 stars. I was in the Navy, so this is required viewing for me. It's the same as Down Periscope. I had to watch that one too. It's like a boot camp thing. All right, let's talk about this really awesome movie I saw this weekend from 1995 called The Last Supper. Hey, how you doing, guys? Thanks for inviting me for dinner. I appreciate it. You guys look a little... You guys on the Kamala? Yeah, you guys are Kamala guys? Yeah, I could tell. Just looking at you, I could tell. You guys are Kamala guys. I could just tell. Last Supper, 1995 movie. I'm surprised I haven't seen this because it came out the year I graduated high school. And I remember, like, I think that year, like Crimson Tide came out. I definitely saw that one. But I'm surprised I didn't see this one. So here's the premise. These rich, liberal grad students have these little dinner parties every week or something like that. They cook up nice meals for themselves. They have wine and red wine and then white wine with dessert at dinner and so forth. And they talk about their liberal things and how they're such good little environmentalists and stuff. You know what I mean? And one of them his car breaks down on the way to this dinner party, and he gets picked up by a guy in a truck who is played by Bill Paxton. And he takes him to I'm on my way to this dinner party, and Bill Paxton drives him to the dinner party, drops him off, and he goes, "Oh, I appreciate you giving me the ride." And out of a gesture of kindness, this guy, I forget this guy's name. I got the cast here. Hold on. Ron Eldard. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He says, out of human decency, he says, "Why don't you stay for dinner? We'd appreciate it." And Bill Paxton's like, "Oh, I don't want to be a bother." He's like, No, I insist." And, "What are you having?" He's like, "We're having lasagna." "Okay, I can eat that." So they invite Bill Paxton in. And so they're sitting here at this table, much like this is Bill Paxton's point of view. And the meal comes out and he goes like, "Does anyone want to say grace?" And he's like, "Oh, we don't say grace here." They're like, "Oh, okay, you don't want to thank anybody for this food?" They're like, "No." So Bill Paxton says a little grace for himself and starts eating with these liberals. And they get into this conversation, borders on argument very quickly. We're talking about how liberals, they sit up here in their rich little apartments thinking they're good little environmentalists. Sending what's the line from Scrooge? Sending greeting cards to each other on recycled paper. It's a crock, James. You know what I mean? And he starts telling them all this, and it's this guy. I don't know if he's Jewish in the movie. I don't know if he is in real life. I can't tell because he's not wearing a kippah or anything. That's usually a giveaway, or any of the what are they called, payas, the little. Anyway, but the real fact of the matter is he's only Jewish when there's something to be offended about, and so because they realize that this guy named Zach, who is played by Bill Paxton, that because he's kind of a conservative guy, he wants to pray before dinner. It's just like some of that backwards religion nonsense. That they realize he's conservative. They get in this argument, and he starts making, and it's because he's conservative, he starts making fun of the Jewish guy, because that's what conservatives do, right? All right, and Bill Paxton pulls a knife on him. All right, and then the Jewish guy finds another knife and stabs Bill Paxton in the back when he was turned around, and they kill Bill Paxton. God rest his soul. Thanks for all the years of entertainment, bud. It was a good little bit part for him. And so these liberals, these grad students, all sit around the table and say, we got to call the cops. And they're like, no. We don't have to call the cops. We could bury them in the tomato garden. Raise tomatoes out of these bodies, out of these corpses. Natural nitrogen for the soil, So they bury them in the backyard, and nobody's the wiser. All right. Later on in the movie, you find out the character that Bill Paxton was playing, Zach, was actually a very bad man. And considering that after the decision they made, they started to feel reinforced in the decision because they kind of liked what happened. They kind of liked that there's this conservative dick that they came to dinner accidentally, and they got to kill him. They felt like they did some good in the world by getting rid of this evil conservative. So they start getting this idea. It's like, let's start inviting other evil conservatives over for dinner, and we'll poison them in the blue white wine bottle. They put arsenic in it, and then they'll offer it to them. They'll poison the person, the conservative person that's at the table. And don't get me wrong, they invited some real jerks. Okay, there was this one guy who was a Catholic priest, and he's doing a pray away the gay kind of thing, and I was like, oh yeah, it's he's kind of a dick about it, but I agree with him. It's like homosexuality is a sin. It should be stopped. And so this is the reason why these liberals decided to kill him, because that was his opinion. And, you get a whole bunch of other different guys. They start liking it. Different people that they're coming over that are real jerks. They start kind of like enjoying the fact they think they're doing good in the world by killing these conservative people. But at the same time, they're also kind of getting lackadaisical about it. They're not even doing like nice dinners, fancy dinners, like a lasagna that so-and-so made, and with organic eggplant and so forth. And eventually it's just like burgers and dogs, have a burger and a hot dog. Then we'll give you some white wine and poison your conservative ass. So it's an interesting movie about this group of serial killers who, until at some point their tomato garden gets real big and obvious, and some problems develop. Because, they begin liking it a little too much. You know what I mean? And Ron Perlman plays this like, I don't know, like, what's the word? Like a Alex Jones or Gavin McInnes type in this world. And he's always on TV saying like stuff about like liberals are bad. He's the conservative pundit that they all watch and hate on. So they approach him and invite him to their house and and have dinner with him. And they have a conversation with him. And that's kind of very interesting. I don't want to spoil it. But it's really interesting because he says, it's all an act. It's how I make money. That's how my books sell. It's because of my opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm just a guy like you, and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting. But I think like the one they killed right before that, he was almost like, I could kind of see your point. Maybe I've been thinking about this all wrong. Like they almost changed his mind and they started to get disappointed because, we're not going to kill him now. Because he learned. So we can't. And so they didn't like that. And so eventually they just like goaded him back into his racism or whatever it was. And boom, they got another body on their hands. Really interesting movie. Especially when you consider like, you don't like any single character. There's no character to like at all. You know what I mean? And so it's good in that regard. It's because you don't care about the people who are killing and you don't care about the people who are killed. So it's good to enjoy it in that regard. And then you can start ignoring all of the political nonsense. All the liberal viewpoint and the conservative viewpoint. All that doesn't matter when it comes to murder. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're talking about arresting and punishing people who murder. So, Last Supper, 1995 movie, 13 of 13 stars. Liberals are assholes. High praise from the madman. Let's get into the news worth knowing. Oh, Lord, it's hot. All right. Get rid of the cast there. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Trump assassination attempt. You ever tried to Google that lately? You get an assassination attempt on T.R. Truman? Anyway. Trump assassination attempt. Iran threat prompts questions about gunman's uncracked encryption. All right. A lot of weird questions about this story, I'll tell you. So this is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. FBI investigation into the failed July 13th assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump has revived the argument over whether big tech firms should provide law enforcement with a backdoor method to break into their own unbreakable encryption. That's a separate issue, I think. Weeks before an attempt on Trump's life, the Secret Service received intelligence warning of an Iranian plot to kill the former president, according to federal law enforcement officials. While experts are skeptical of any connection between the 20-year-old would-be assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks and Iran, they haven't been able to access some of his communications 18 days later. So it remains unclear who he was talking to, if anyone, and what topics would have been discussed. I think this is a quote. I think we've experienced a range of returns because some of the applications that he was using online were encrypted in nature. FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate said during a Senate hearing Tuesday under questioning from South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham. The FBI has gained access to some of his emails, he said, but some of his encrypted communications remain undecipherable on Tuesday. Quote, if he were talking to some foreign power, and I don't think any foreign power would hire this guy, by the way, so I'm not overly worried, but if this is some great plot by the Iranians, how do we solve this? Graham asked. This guy's dead. And this is how people are talking about him. You know? Now, I just want you to know, is like, if you ever think that this is trying to shoot somebody as an answer, this is how people treat you after you die. It's like, this guy was so inept, we don't even think Iran would hire him to be a traitor. I don't think India would hire him to be a traitor. You know what I mean? Quote goes, quote, Senator, you know, as we've been saying, we need a solution that provides lawful access, Abate said. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies have been seeking unsuccessfully backdoor access to encrypted data for years. And while lawmakers have been reluctant to demand it facing privacy and due to process concerns, apps that facilitate encrypted communications have become popular not only with private individuals, but also terrorist groups, criminal cartels, drug traffickers, and other criminals. They're easy to obtain on Apple and Android phones and often free to use. Thomas Matthew Crooks was 20 years old. He climbed atop the roof less than 150 yards from Trump during the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. Armed with an AR-15 rifle, he tried to kill the former president, barely missing his head and only grazing his ear, killing one rally attendee and critically wounding two others. The shocking security failure spawned a number of investigations into both lapses in event security and the gunman's motivations. The attack came amid a heightened threat from Iran. See, this Iran thing, this Iran angle is being like stapled onto this for some reason. I would believe that Iran doesn't want Trump to be president. I think all the enemies of the United States do not want Trump to be president. They want more Democrats so they continue to infiltrate our country and destroy us from within. That's what our enemies want. And so I do believe that Iran would want Trump dead. Do I think Iran had communicated with this 20-year-old shooter? No. I think it's far more likely that there was someone much closer to home that was using encrypted applications to communicate with this young gunman. I would guess that the person he was communicating with was probably a white Democrat in the United States, probably in Washington. That's what I would guess, if I had to guess who he was talking to. Now, the separate issue is the encryption. Do you think that the FBI and other agencies like that should have backdoor access to your encrypted data, to all of our encrypted data? But how important is it that we get this information that's out of this kid's phone? That's a good question. I bet EK has an opinion on that. Not really? You don't think they should have a backdoor?
I don't think that in this situation it would have helped.
It wouldn't have helped? I mean, damage is done, don't get me wrong.
Not in this particular situation.
Okay.
And first for him to be on the radar, for his phone to be a target, he would have had to have taken action that first would have made him suspect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he was on no radars prior to this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So even if they had access to his phone, what good would it have done him?
Well, that's the point, I think, is that they want to, like, if there's anyone else that could be implicated, that's the issue, I think. And I think it would be important to find if anyone else is implicated. Because, like I said, I doubt it's Iran. It's probably somebody closer to home. Anyway. Let's talk about the man who lived himself. Trump on White House leadership. It's run by fascists, Marxists, and communists. This is why people love him, because he's straight up. He speaks directly. Anyway, so former President Trump said Tuesday that he thinks decisions in the White House are being made by a group of fascists, communists, and Marxists. I'm the opposite of a threat to democracy. They're a threat to democracy, Trump said of the Democrats on the Ingram angle. I mean, look what they just did, he said. Trump told Fox News host Laura Ingraham that Democrats participated in a coup by replacing Biden at the top of the 2024 ticket with Vice President Kamala Harris months after the millions of primary voters cast their ballots. That is correct. That is a coup. They took the presidency away. His wife didn't want it to happen. They took the presidency away from like he was a child, he told Ingram. Wow. That's accurate. That's what it seemed like, right? It's like, you're not allowed to have this. And it's clearly Jill's fighting for it because she wanted to be first lady again for as long as possible. And they said, well, we're going to take it away from you. By no legal means. This is unprecedented. This kind of thing has never happened. Anyway, Ingram asked Trump, who's running the country while Harris is the campaign trail and Biden faces concerns about his mental acuity. Quote, a group of people who are fascists, communists, and Marxists, Trump said in part, adding that they circled the Oval Office and Department of Justice. You're saying that Biden isn't making any big decision, Ingram asked? I don't think so, no. I don't think he knows he's alive, Trump responded. Trump likely faces Harris in November, and she seeks officially become the Democratic presidential nominee at the August Democratic National Convention in Chicago. You had to kick him one more time. You know, there's no point in kicking Biden anymore. Just had to kick him one more time. Anyway, Ingram noticed Harris in her ex-bio states her pronouns are she, her. What are your pronouns? She asked of Trump. I don't want pronouns, he said. I don't want pronouns. Nobody even knows what that means. Ask her to describe exactly what that means. Nobody knows because they're going crazy, right? All right? We have to bring our country back to sanity. So I say this about the Republican Party. It's a party now based on common sense, okay? We're conservative. We're everything. We're based on common sense. The 2024 GOP nominee said the country needs to be brought back to sanity because the Democrat Party is going crazy. Is there an echo in here? What the hell? Why would you write that? Trump said Republicans want low taxes, good education, American dream for younger generations. We want the American dream for our children. I want the American dream. I want my children. Don't you have the American dream? Anyway, I want the American dream. I want my children to say, man, this is great. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. You heard about it 4 years ago, but you don't hear about it anymore. I want the American dream as a goal for our children, Trump said. You don't hear that anymore with all this nonsense going on. We're a party based on common sense. That's a good point. You know, it's not what I can do and everything, you know, that I can achieve in my lifetime. It's how offended can I be and how rich can it make me? How famous can it make me? You know? Weird. And that's what they're calling us. You know, that's what they've been calling like J.D. Vance and Trump and everybody. They've been calling us weird. It's like, you know what? You're the ones with like dancing naked in front of kids. You're the ones that are like don't even know what a woman is. It's like, well, you know, it's a trans woman. It's the same as a woman. You're the weird ones. It's the irony is just I'm choking on it. You're calling us weird. Wanting sanity. Wanting to anyway. Let's talk about the boxing thing. Weird thing, boxing gloves. Weird thing. So, Former opponent of Olympic boxer in gender eligibility controversy speaks out. Her blows hurt me a lot. Okay. Algerian boxer Amain Khalif's participation in the 2024 Paris Olympics, despite being disqualified in the 2023 World Championships over gender eligibility concerns, raised questions at the start of the Summer Games. The International Olympic Committee cleared Khalif to compete, but that did not stop Olympic viewers from expressing outrage on social media on Tuesday. A video of Khalif's fight against Mexico's Brianda Tamara Cruz Sandoval in December of 2022 raised the temperature. The video of the 66-kilogram fight in the WBT Golden Belt Series showed Khalif pummeling the Mexican fighter. Tamara told The Telegraph that she never felt the way she felt after the fight during her boxing career. Quote, "When I fought her, I felt very much out of my depth. Her blows hurt me a lot. Thank God I got out of the ring safely, and it's good that they finally realized." Khalif is set to square off against Italy's Angela Carini on Thursday, but the cloud of controversy hangs over the ring. Khalif was disqualified from the 2023 World Championships sanctioned by the International Boxing Association after they found a high level of testosterone, according to Reuters. The boxer told Algerian TV that the decision was part of a big controversy, according to AFP. Khalif is told she had characteristics that mean that I can't box with women. The Algerian Olympic Committee said at the time Khalif was disqualified for medical reasons. Taiwan's Lin Yuting's bronze medal was stripped after failing to meet International Boxing Association eligibility criteria, which caused an uproar in her camp. IBA President Umar Kremlev explained the decision at the time, according to Russia's TASS news agency. Based on DNA tests, we identified a number of athletes who tried to trick their colleagues into posing as women. According to the results of the test, it was proved that they have XY chromosomes. Such athletes were excluded from the competition, Kremlev said. Previously, Khalif was able to compete in the 2018, 2019, 2022 Women's Boxing Championships. Khalif is also permitted to compete in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Questions about Lin's eligibility also raised after Lin was disqualified in 2023 along with Khalif. Quote, "All athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations," the IOC said. Yeah. The same reason why women don't belong in the SEALs is the same reason why men shouldn't fight women in a competition like this. That's a man fighting a woman. Nobody wants to see that. It's the beginning of a Lifetime movie. Nobody wants to watch that. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, we're the weird ones. We're saying, we got to get this crazy bullshit out of here. That's ridiculous. And unfortunately, like, more women are going to be hurt. I just listed all the competitions these guys have been fighting in. So they've already hurt plenty of women for no reason. I feel like my parents are getting, when that happens, I feel like my parents are fighting, my mom's getting her ass kicked, and I want to jump in the ring and defend her. That's my instinct. It's like, there's a guy beating on a woman, I want to jump in the ring and stop that guy from beating on the woman. That's not fun for me to watch or experience. Anyway, moving on. All right, so, they're trying to rig an election again. So, Google AI chatbot refuses to answer questions about Trump assassination attempt relating to previous policy. So, artificial intelligence chatbot Google Gemini refuses to answer questions about the failed assassination attempt against former President Trump in accordance with what it calls its policy on election-related issues. Quote, "I can't help with responses on elections and political figures right now," Gemini told Fox News Digital when asked about a recent assassination attempt. "While I would never deliberately share something that's inaccurate, I can make mistakes. So while I work on improving, you can try Google search." Google Gemini is one of the many multimodal large language models, LLMs, currently available to the public. As with the case of all LLMs, the human-like responses offered by the AI can change from user to user based upon a number of factors, including contextual information, the language, the tone, and the prompt of the training data. Google announced in December that it would limit the types of queries related to elections across the world in a run-up to the 2024 presidential election. Gemini has responded as intended responding as intended, a Google spokesperson told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. As we announced last year, we restrict responses to our election-based queries on the Gemini app and web experience. By clicking on the blue link in the response, you'll be directed to an accurate and up-to-date search results. While the tech giant's policy related to elections and politics is initially announced in late 2023, the controversy over Google's influence over the upcoming elections has only grown in the wake of a failed assassination attempt on Trump. Google users reported that the search engine initially omitted the attempted assassination of Trump from its autocomplete feature, drawing criticism from social media users who accused the big tech giant of trying to influence the presidential election. Yes, that's correct. When they started altering the Google results or the Google autocomplete and all that, yeah, that's just like last time with the Hunter Biden laptop and the Ashley Biden diary. They're doing it again. You could say, what I really want is somebody really watching these people who are doing polls, who are taking the ballots and stuff like that. I want some real oversight on all that. You can say that all you want. And I do want that to happen. I want some real accountability when it comes to counting the ballots. All right? And if we could put it like a serial number on every single dollar bill, we could put one on our ballots. Okay? So I can go to the internet or go to some website that the government has and make sure that my vote is what I intended it to be. All right? And so reverse. You can do that in reverse. Find the person who says they did vote for somebody. Okay? I think that should be important. But you cannot deny the culpability of the media. The media trying to change the way we see things. So be careful. Be careful with Google. Careful with your search engines. It's dystopian, dude. It's 1984, man. Let's do some happier stories and get out of here. Want to do that? What makes you happier than a mullet? Huh?
I think you need that.
Yeah, I think I need that. Mullets make you happy? Mullets make me happy too. So Georgia boy advances to the top 100 USA Mullet Championship. My friends think it's cool. Yeah, it is. Patrick Hayes of Cumming, Georgia. I bet he knows why I'm laughing too. Has been growing his mullet since he was 7 years old. 11-year-old has become a top 100 finalist in the USA Mullet Championship. The first time competing in the event, he told Fox News Digital via an email. Can you scroll down to the picture of this kid? That's a great one. We caught his little bluegill perch. There's one. That one's great. Isn't that?
The baked beans wrap.
I know. It's so white trash. It's great.
This kid knows what he's doing.
Yes, he is. He does know what he's doing. Anyway, he's quoted as saying, I saw it last year and I thought it looked cool. Everyone said that I need to be on TV with hair like this. U.S. Mullet Championship has grown from a local Michigan competition in 2020 to a national event among all states. But you know what that means? Like Michigan started having this mullet contest and all these other states are, hey, Michigan doesn't have all the mullets. You can't have all the mullets. So they formed their own mullet. This is some white boy summer shit, I'm telling you. Mullet wearers of all ages participate in the competition in the kid, teen, and adult categories. Hayes said the hairdo is a conversation starter. Yes, I know. Guys with mullets never have to worry about talking to chicks. Chicks all want to talk to them. So you're doing all right, my friend. My friends think it's cool. He said, it's how all my friends know me. I get compliments all the time about it. Yeah, you know him, the one with the mullet. The its business in front, parting the back hairstyle has been notably rocked by musicians David Bowie and Billy Ray Cyrus. Part of the championship funds go to the Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors, a nonprofit that provides mortgage-free homes to critically wounded combat veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan, according to USA Mullet Championship website. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. I just love how this is for a great cause. It's not just about the mullets. Dad Michael Hayes told Fox News Digital via email, such a fun way to start the school year off for him. Oh, you had to remind him it's almost school time. What a jerk. Dad, don't remind me. I I just want to have my mullet in summer. Those summer days with my mullets. First round of voting ends on Tuesday night. Top 25 contestants. This year will be competition between selecting the top 3 most majestic mullets on August 28th. Anyway, what was that last line? Fox News Digital reached out to USA Mullet Championship for additional comment. Yeah, they probably weren't there. There's probably some office line that never gets used. Some guy set it up and it's like, and it just goes right to voicemail. And they check it maybe like every week or two. This is Fox News Digital. We'd like to get your comment. And it's like, you call them 2 weeks later. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you right away. The news story ran already? Okay. We did have a statement, but, we don't take this thing that seriously. All right. Last story. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to cheer me up. So Reddit users food spat with a hovering critical roommate blows up into a stupid conflict. And yes, it does.
Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
What? Wicked Witch of the East? Oh, okay.
You know that video, right?
No.
I'll talk about it later.
All right. References, I don't know. Anyway. So, first of all, you can't be a man and live in a house of 2 women. You can't do it. It can't be done. Anyway. So, a Reddit user who had a roommate spat about food was not in the wrong, and neither was his roommate, other users said. But a therapist told Fox... Anyway, this is from the AITA forum, Am I the Asshole, for telling my roommate I don't cook food she likes because I don't cook for her. Ask user Haunting Athlete 951 in a recent post in the Am I the Asshole subreddit. In the posting, Haunting Athlete 951 wrote that he, a 21-year-old man, and his girlfriend, E, a 20-year-old woman, live with the roommate, A, 31-year-old woman. All right. We all contribute equally to our monthly house food, and food meant for everyone, not specific person budget. And we have our own food as long as it communicates and nobody else eats somebody else's food. Basic. The house food, they wrote, consisted of things such as pantry staples, including pasta. A couple of weeks ago, I made myself and E some spaghetti with the house food. Him and his girlfriend, I guess. Just noodles and generic brand canned sauce, nothing fancy. Yeah, been there, done that. His roommate was at work late, and when she saw the dirty pot, she made a comment about being sad that there was none saved for her. I asked if she wanted me to save some for her next time I made it, but she didn't really give me a straight answer. I got the feeling she wanted me to, though, so I made a mental note to do that next time I made spaghetti and moved on. A few days later, he made pork chops and offered some to A while she came home from work. That's the 31-year-old. She accepted. However, when she put the food in the microwave to warm it, she made a face as the smell hit her. She tried not to let me see, but I could tell she wasn't thrilled, he said. She took the food into her room to eat, which wasn't usual for her. Which isn't unusual for her, sorry. So I don't know if she finished it or what. Since these 2 incidents, A's behavior towards him has gotten strange, he said. Whenever we're in the kitchen together and I'm cooking, she's been kind of hovering over my shoulder trying to give me advice on how to season my food. And honestly, sometimes it's good advice, he said, noting that he does not mind helpful suggestions to improve. However, she gave me attitude whenever I didn't do something the way she wanted or liked. This has always been subtle and unspoken until yesterday. Plot thickens. Recently, he made spaghetti once again, but he kept the noodles and sauce separated so everyone could choose how much sauce they want. He said, A's seen me make spaghetti before, but this time when she made it, she said I made it the white people way. I feel it's important to also note that she is white. She is also white. She said in the mix that I should mix a sauce in, and I told her that wasn't how I make it. She continued, she told me she liked it better. He continued, she told me she liked it better when it was pre-mixed, and here's where I maybe went too far. He added, I told her I don't care how she likes it because I wasn't cooking it for her. I told her when I cook, mine and my girlfriend's preferences is the only thing I consider because the food is being made for us, not for her. If she doesn't like it, she has her own food to make, and there's nothing stopping her from eating that. This caused her to get huffy, and she stormed off, he wrote. Later on, said my tone came off as a bit angry. I wasn't angry, I was just stating a fact, but maybe there was a way to put it more gently. I don't know. In updates to his post, he revealed that he and his roommate had a sit-down discussion to smooth things over the misunderstanding. To sum up what I said, I told her that while I appreciated her help sometimes in the kitchen, since she has more experience than me, I can understand her insisting on something as small as stirring the sauce in or not, which could simply stir the sauce in herself on her own plate, he said. Writing that was mindful of my tone and wording at this time, and I think that helped. A, for her part, let out a long sigh and apologized and said that she had been pretty moody after a long day of work and ended up taking it out on me. So good. Conflict resolved. That's good, to some degree. But the point is that, you know, if you're cooking around anyone who thinks they know how to cook, not even if they know how to cook, if you're cooking around anyone who thinks they know how to cook, they're going to hover around you. They're going to tell you how to do stuff. Exactly. That's the biggest problem right there, Big Daddy Evil One. That's the biggest problem, is that you're living with this older lady. You know, it's you and your girl, and you're living with this other lady, and she's living, doesn't have anybody. So you're the vicarious relationship, right? You're the husband she doesn't have that she's going to henpeck. So you need to get out of that situation, young man. Because a 31-year-old woman like this, there's a reason why she's living alone. A reason why she invites this couple to come live with them. Live with her. All right? Oh, you got more? I mean, people chatting? Oh, sounds like she's just jealous she doesn't have a man. And yeah. God forbid we hold time until we find a spouse. Oh, my Lord.
Hold the dime between our knees.
Hold the dime?
Dime between our knees.
Is that a point about chastity?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Big Daddy Evil One. Love you, cuz. This is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. You can also follow me over here on the Instagrams at slrobbins13 or on Twitter at Denalitsaw. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards. DNALETSAW. I also have books available for digital download. You can find them on Amazon.com. Search for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's. Or you can follow the link down in the description below. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.